în testul ăla după ce l-am copiat pe tot. Clasa 12 când mă pregăteam pentru admitere, aveam și liceu cu Bacu pe lângă și eu la admitere am dat biologie și chimie, adică eu cu fizica toată viața am fost paralele. Bă, eram una cu peretele, deci peretele ăsta e mai deștept decât mine la fizică. Bun. Și știți cum era în clasa 12-a, profesorii te mai lăsau gen să înveți de alte materii în timpul orelor și nu le păsa așa tare, adică dacă te dai bacul, nu, mate, română și biologie. Te lăsa să faci ce vrei tu. Uite, la info mă lăsa profa să fac ce vreau eu, la fizică la fel. Și la un moment dat profa a zis, bă, trebuie să dați și voi un test ca să vă pun o notă, gen, chiar dacă nu aveți admitere la fizică. Mi l-a făcut unchiul meu, te pup dacă vezi asta, mi l-a făcut pe WhatsApp, el fiind inginer din ăsta a făcut fizică atomică. Ai, doamnă, nu mă pricep, nu spuneți, nu știu, a terminat fizică atomică, atâta știu și mi-a făcut-o cu formulele de fizică atomică de la facultate, pe care eu nu le făcusem în clasa 12-a. Și am dat testul domnului, eram, yes, vezi ce deșteaptă. După ce ăștia că-s proastă, că tot liceu am luat 5 și 6 la teste, gen, m-am gândit să folosesc formule de facultate. Și vine testul înapoi și văd 0 pe el. Și eram, de ce am 0 în testul de pe punctul din oficiu? Doar am făcut. Și s-a uitat așa proful la mine și mi-a zis, Ambra, nici măcar punctul din oficiu n-am putut să-l pun. Nu m-a lăsat inima. Mi-a pus 10 după în catalog, vă pup dacă vedeți asta. Cel mai tare profesor din lume, l-am iubit, m-a susținut tot timpul pentru admitere. Dar a rămas așa, cea mai frumoasă amintire.
Storytime, wie ich an meinem Geburtstag auf der Schultoilette gepfeffert wurde. Das Wissen, wir waren zu 9 in einer Schultoilettenkabine drinne, zu 9, in der allerletzten. Und wir haben einfach nur gechillt und geredet, aber es war richtig eng, ne? So, wir haben für meinen Geburtstag gesungen, dann auf einmal, wir spüren so, unser Hals kratzt richtig. Ich versuche zu atmen, es ging einfach nicht. Wir gucken uns alle an, wir haben alle dasselbe gespürt. Wir sind direkt rausgerannt, sagen so, ey Leute, da wurde gerade Pfefferspray gesprüht und so. Leute, unsere Augen haben getränt, hier unsere Nase hat gekratzt, hier unser Hals, alles, sogar, wir hatten sogar Magenschmerzen und so. Dann, Feueralarm wurde gedrückt. Wir mussten alle uns auf dem Schulgebäude versammeln. Und dann wurde für uns Krankenwagen gerufen und wir mussten nach oben und Krankenwagen hat uns so behandelt mäßig, ne. Es wurde auch richtig viel Polizei gerufen, ne. Wir mussten so Aussagen tätigen und so. Wir mussten sagen, was wir gesehen haben, ne. Aber das Ding ist halt, wir haben nichts gesehen und nichts gehört. Das heißt, als wir rausgerannt sind, da war einfach niemand, nicht mal die Tür war offen oder so. Diesen Moment, in dem es gesprüht wurde, wir haben keine Stimmen gehört, wir haben nicht mal gehört, wie die Person selber rausgerannt ist oder irgendwas gesagt hat oder so, oder selber nicht atmen konnte. Und es wurde direkt neben uns gesprüht und wir dachten sogar, als es gesprüht wurde, wir waren ganz alleine. So, es wurde einfach auf die Kloschüssel einfach so gesprüht. Nur danach haben wir uns irgendwie gedacht, wer das sein könnte, einfach so aus ein paar Gründen sozusagen. Dann durften wir 2 Stunden früher gehen, weil wir so verletzt waren mäßig. Leute haben uns auch beschuldigt, weil wir irgendwie die Einzigen auf den Toiletten waren und irgendwie, weil es anscheinend niemand war und so. Ja, ich hoffe, die Storytime hat euch gefallen. Auf Wiedersehen.
Io al liceo avevo un professore di filosofia che secondo me era un genio incompreso e io continuo a credere tutt'oggi che quell'uomo nascondesse della genialità dentro di sé. Prima di tutto, palesemente non voleva essere un professore nella sua vita perché ci odiava tutti quanti e non si faceva problemi a dircelo in faccia. Alcuni compagni di liceo mi seguono pure su questo profilo, quindi potranno confermare che ci chiamava tipo, diceva che la nostra classe era una macelleria umana, diceva che facevamo schifo, cioè insomma era un raggio di sole quest'uomo. E secondo me il picco della sua performance scolastica è stato quando ha ben deciso di iniziare nel bel mezzo della lezione a parlarci del suo pavimento pelvico e degli esercizi che lui faceva in palestra per allenare il suo pavimento pelvico, per, parole sue, soddisfare sua moglie. Eravamo al liceo, dovevamo preparare gli esami, ci faceva proprio la dimostrazione. I professori di storia e filosofia sono sempre quelli che hanno delle menti eccesse, secondo me. Il mio professore di storia di prima liceo diceva che la democrazia era giusta solo quando comandava una persona e quella persona, guarda caso, era lui. Vabbè, devo mangiare, vado a mangiare.
Le elementari, ripensandoci, sono state il periodo più assurdo della nostra vita. Cioè, una giornata normale elementari era, tu entravi, ti sedevi e la maestra faceva: ragazzi buoni che oggi facciamo le moltiplicazioni. Neanche faceva in tempo a finire che un tuo compagno dall'altro lato della classe si alzava e faceva:
maestra, vaffanculo! Piglia lo zaino con 30 libri dentro,
lo sbatte in testa con una pietra alla compagna di fianco e a momenti la stecca. Allora tu ti giri alla tua sinistra e un tuo compagno
lo vedi che sta alzando l'intero tubetto della colla Prit e lo ingoia di colpo, neanche fosse una caramella.
Quello era assurdo, ce n'era uno in ogni classe. Ti giri alla tua destra e che cosa vedi? Vedi un altro tuo amico che sta giù veramente a fare 2x2 4, 3x3 9, dici, oh, questo qua si sta veramente a mettere.
Provvede a sboccare l'intera colazione su tutto il quaderno, il banco e anche per terra.
La maestra già non ci sta capendo più un cazzo e come ciliegina sulla torta compare la bidella che
Rompe dentro l'aula e fa: chi ha pisciato sui muri dei bagni?
e veramente era il delirio, cioè a momenti entrava un uccello in classe. Succedeva qualsiasi cosa.
My teacher destroyed 47 student phones in front of the whole school, so I made sure hers was number 48. Mrs. Halverson had one rule: no phones, ever. If she saw a phone, heard a phone, or even suspected you had a phone, she would take it and smash it with a hammer in front of the entire class. She kept the hammer in her desk drawer, a small red Stanley that she'd grip with both hands before bringing it down on the screen. The first time I saw her do it was September. A kid named Trevor's phone buzzed during a quiz. Mrs. Halverson placed it face up on her desk and destroyed it in 3 hits. Glass scattered everywhere. Distractions have consequences, she said. By December, she'd smashed 23 phones. She kept a running tally on the whiteboard. Parents complained, but she had tenure, and the school board backed her because test scores were high. Of course they were. We were terrified. I made it to April by leaving my phone in my car every day. I watched her destroy phones from kids who forgot theirs in their pocket, kids whose alarms went off, kids whose parents texted during class. She never showed mercy. Then came the AP chemistry final. It was worth 40% of our grade. Nothing on your desks but the exam and 1 pencil, she announced. We had 2 hours. 40 minutes in, I heard buzzing. Not a ringtone, just vibration against wood. Everyone's head snapped up. Mrs. Halverson froze. The buzzing continued. 3 short bursts. Pause. 3 more. It was coming from her desk drawer. Her face went white. She stood up fast, knocking over her coffee mug. Brown liquid spread across her papers, but she didn't look at it. She yanked open the drawer and pulled out her phone, fumbling to silence it, but not before we all saw the screen. The contact name was D, and beneath it were 3 messages with explicit details and eggplant emojis. The room went silent except for coffee dripping onto the floor. Mrs. Halverson's hands shook as she tried to shove the phone back. That's when I raised my hand. Mrs. Halverson, yes? She wouldn't look at me. Your phone went off during an exam. I'm aware of that, but you always say distractions have consequences. She finally looked up. Her face had gone from white to red. This is different. How? I asked. Because you're the teacher? Watch your tone.
Story time of how I got kicked out of the canteen at my old school. Thought I'd do some more story times. My skincare's already done because I recorded this exact video and it added a sound, so. Anyways, back in 2025, like winter, we obviously weren't allowed to sit in big groups at my old school, but you were allowed to sit in small groups, which I never understood because it doesn't make it quieter. But, we were sat in a big group because we had enough of the teachers. They told us off no matter what, so we were like, you know what, we may as well enjoy it while it lasts, just sit in a big group, actually enjoy lunchtime for once, because it's the only time we could talk to the older years was when we were all sat on the same table. Anyways, I'm getting my food later because the year 11s, like the year above me, had to get their food first, like priority or something, because they're older. And then I'm walking to the table and I get screamed. I'm there thinking, I've already had a bad day, you do not want to go there. Anyways, he starts screaming at me. This teacher, Mr. Holden, starts screaming at me down the canteen, like literally everyone could hear me. It was so embarrassing, going like, why you stood up with your food, everything. And I was like, I'm trying to get to my seat, can you get out of my way? Obviously didn't say can you get out of my way, but I said I'm trying to get to my seat. Anyways, I get to my seat, we're all there talking. We were talking this loud. As loud as I'm talking to you guys right now, that's how loud we was all relatively talking. So it wasn't actually that loud. Anyways, then, I'm not being funny, this teacher comes over, they start screaming at us all for being in a group and everything. I'm not having any of that. I've already had a really bad day. It's not been well. I've got some bad news. Just no. So I'm kind of retaliating, which I know was wrong. I probably shouldn't have done, but I did. I can't change that, so here we are, I guess. But what they did was wrong. Then they pull me aside to calm down. Calm down. And then the teacher, the one that assaulted me, comes and talks to me like, fuck off. Anyways, she comes and talks to me and she was like, Zoe, why are you getting told off for? Blah, 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 waffling about how, like, just basically shouting down, like, down the whole entire canteen at me for getting told off. Like, you're literally not doing it right now. Like, what? Anyways, I am saying I don't think it's fair that we're not allowed to sit in a group, especially because they've not got long left. And I don't get why you're always picking on our group when other groups are in bigger groups and they're talking louder than we are. Because they had like something against our group. I don't know why. I think it's because it was boys and girls and it was year above and year below. Like, basically, they kicked me out of the canteen then, and I was like, what do you mean you're kicking me out of the canteen? How am I going to get my food? How am I going to eat? Because I get hot meals. They were like, should have thought of that one. No, you should have thought of that one before kicking me out. Anyways, I go outside on the phone to my dad. I'm like, they just kicked me out of the canteen. He goes, what do you mean? What have you done? What's happened? What's happened? He takes the school side before he's heard any side of the story, which is great. So I'm explaining everything to him. I'm telling him the truth, exactly what I've just told you guys, which some people might not agree is the truth, but it is, so pat down. Anyways, I explained the whole story to him. He took my side. He rings at the school. He was not a happy bunny. He was screaming at the teachers, like, why have you kicked her out of the canteen? How's she gonna eat? Blah, 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 blah. They're denying it. They're like, oh no, we haven't done that. We haven't done that. What do you mean you haven't done that? I wouldn't just ring my dad and lie. Like, what? Anyways, they came and found me, and then they spoke to me. They was like, you need to go ring your dad and tell it was false. No, we'll let you. And I was like, well, no, because you did kick me out of the canteen. They was like, oh, no, we haven't, not now. No, it's fine. It's okay, you can come back in the canteen, just come ring your dad. Tell him it was all lies. I was like, no. Anyways, I told my dad that they were lying and that they're still arguing with me. And my dad was like, look, if they don't let you in the canteen tomorrow, just ring me. And I was like, fair enough. So anyways, tomorrow, or the next day, I walk in the canteen feeling bold and brave because I'm like, I got my dad. Because my dad was just going to come straight down to school and argue with teachers who lied to him, like. And I found out they're not allowed, and you're allowed, in my friend group, well, you're allowed to be separate because the canteen was like this, and then it had like this little bit there. So in every single corner, there was two of our friends, and we weren't allowed to sit near each other, and the other two that were left were right bang in the middle of the canteen. So none of us were actually allowed to be near each other, which I don't think is very fair, like. But it's okay, I guess. But no, I don't think it's very fair. Personally, I think I shouldn't got kicked out. It was all solved the next day, but the seating arrangement did go on for a very long time. Towards the end, before I moved, it got back where we could sit together in two separate groups, and if the groups were near each other at any point, detention. Like, fuck off. Oh my god, my phone vibrated then. Barbecue every Saturday group chat. Anyways, that was my lovely story. Hope you enjoy, guys. Oh, this is a really long vlog. Oh, I'm making it longer, wait.
Okay, so I've been asked to do a story time on if I've got caught skipping lesson. So I'm going to take you all the way back to year 9 for this one. So I was on report at this point, and I had Spanish, but Spanish was all the way on the 3rd floor because we were in one of the computer rooms near the old library. So before the lesson, me and my mate were walking around because we were like, we've got cover, we're not going straight away. And we've seen the old head of behaviour. Like, he loved me, but when he saw me out of lesson, no. So obviously he seen me and my friend and he was like, what are you doing? So we were like, nothing, like, we're going to lesson. Obviously it's like 15 minutes into the lesson at this point. So the cover teachers emailed Walkabout and been like, these people aren't in the lesson, like, can someone find them and bring them? Obviously me and my friend's name were on this list. Year 9 was before we had radios or anything, so everything was done via email, and the person on Walkabout would walk around with the phone with the email loaded up. So obviously he's been like, well, go now. So we were like, okay. We didn't go now. So we've carried on walking around and we've seen him again. So we've made eye contact with him, turned around and run, like, we've run like no tomorrow. So we were like, let's go scope out the area, like, let's go see what's going on in the lesson. So we've gone all the way up the library stairs to the 3rd floor. We've looked through the lesson door and we've been like, no, we're not doing that. So we've started walking back down the stairs. But with the stairs, you go down one flight and then you're on the 2nd floor. Go down another, you're on the 1st floor. So we've gone down one flight, so we're on the 2nd floor. We're about to turn to go up the 2nd floor corridor, but there's doors. We're about to open the doors and we've seen the head of behaviour. We've made full eye contact. So we've both turned around, run down the bottom of the stairs, and we were like, what do we do? So I was like, let's go outside towards science block. But my mate, she was like, no, let's go down the corridor, because obviously he's upstairs. He's going to think we've gone outside when we're still in the building. So we've started walking down this corridor, right? This corridor, it's like, you go down, and then there's an end bit, which leads into another corridor, and then there's a little side bit that's like a corridor and then you turn or go outside, or you carry on going straight and it's the recital hall. So I don't know how. I genuinely, to this day, I haven't got a Scooby-Doo how. But he must have came all the way downstairs and seen us walking down this corridor. So obviously, if he just follows behind us, in his head he's thinking they're just going to run. Like, this guy has, I think, gone outside. He must have ran to catch us in time to go through the other door to the corridor. So we've got to where this turn-off point is. We've carried on going straight. We've literally just got off this turn-off point, like past the turn-off point, and we hear Amelia and friend's name. We've both looked at each other, turn around. Why is he stood right there? He's like, what are you doing? We were like, So we're trying to explain how we're not going to this cover lesson because no thank you. He was like, this is ridiculous, you're both on report, blah blah blah. Having a full-blown go at us. And he was like, I've seen you for the past 20 minutes walking around. And then he starts trying to guilt trip us. He's like, if you would have just gone to the lesson at first and then came to me and said you can't do it, I'd have been like, fair enough. But no, you've walked around for 20 minutes. It was 15, but okay. So we're a bit like, there's no getting out of this. Like, we're a bit stuck now. Like, I kept looking at my mate. I was like trying to hint to go. But there was like kind of no point. Because the way this guy caught us was so fast and instant, like we didn't expect to come in. We probably would have got caught within the next 5 minutes. So he was like, follow me up to isolation. I was like, nah. Because at this point, I didn't go into isolation. If I got in trouble, I'd just sit in student support. Like, they didn't put me in isolation. So this guy sat there and told me I'm going to isolation. And I was like, no. So he was like making us walk in front so he could see if we ran off. So we've got up to isolation. He's buzzed us through the door to go into student support, which is obviously linked to isolation. He's told me to sit on the chairs in student support, buzzed the door open for my friend, put my mate in isolation. So I'm sat in student support like, oh God, this guy's put her in isolation, going to come out and have the biggest go at me ever. So obviously he didn't know my mate very well, but he knew me very well. Like, in year 7 and 8, we were like, so I was like, this guy's going to come have the biggest go at me. I thought we were supposed to be friends. This guy's came out and gone, Amelia, I expected better, and walked into his office. Oh, that was awful. So then it's got to the end of the lesson. I think it was either break or lunch after. I can't really remember. But all my Shein packages in flight. My mates came out of isolation. She was like, how was that fair? How was that fair? And I told her what he said. And she was like, oh. She was obviously still fuming that she had to go sit like half an hour in isolation. I just got to sit on student support. Because at this point I still had my phone. So I was playing daily offline games or whatever it's called. Like, that was my peak school games, bro. Because our school has mobile data blockers, so we couldn't access anything. By year 10, I had the Wi-Fi password, so like, it didn't really matter in year 10 and 11, unless the Wi-Fi didn't work. But at this point, I didn't. But yeah, we had a lovely break time or lunchtime, I can't really remember. And then, I can't remember if we went to our lessons. But, yeah. Year 9 was such a funny year, bro. I actually miss year 9 so much. But yeah, that's my story time. If you want more, comment and go check out part 1. Hope you enjoy it. Bye, guys.
Oggi vi racconto di una delle tante volte di quando mi hanno escluso alle medie. Questa storia fa abbastanza ridere, cioè io ora ve la racconterò ridendo perché ormai sono passati qualcosa come 8 anni e quindi mi fa abbastanza ridere. Devo ammettere che però ai tempi ci sono stata veramente male, però ormai questi traumi sono stati superati. Allora, piccolo disclaimer per i miei compagni delle medie che magari in questo momento sfortunatamente hanno trovato questo mio profilo e mi stanno vedendo. Un bacione, questo non è un video contro di voi assolutamente, voglio soltanto ridere ricordando queste cose. Non porto nessun tipo di rancore verso di voi, verso quello che
successo? Ridiamoci su, ragazzi. Allora, quando ho iniziato le medie io avevo tipo 11 anni, ok? Però diciamo che, come giusto che sia, rispetto a tutte le altre mie compagne in classe, ero ancora molto piccolina. In che senso ero ancora piccolina mentalmente? Nel senso che ancora io avevo il pensiero a giocare, a comprarmi giochi, a fare gli slime. Sì, in classe da me ad essere piccoline ero io con altre tipo 3 ragazze, mentre invece tutte le altre ragazze eravamo un bel po' di ragazze. Quindi tipo le altre 10 ragazze erano tutte già grandicelle, sia mentalmente che fisicamente, cioè anche fisicamente dimostravano più anni di quanti ne avevano, e anche mentalmente. Questo forse perché alcune avevano magari le sorelle più grandi o erano un poco più avanti rispetto a me per questo, e quindi io facevo parte praticamente di un mondo completamente diverso da quello loro. Venivo da 5 anni di elementari bellissimi, cioè io ricordo le elementari come il periodo più bello della mia vita, perché la mia classe era una classe tanto unita, io ero amica con tutti, non c'erano gruppetti, quindi io ingenuamente quando iniziai le medie pensavo di ritrovarmi in una situazione del genere, e giustamente, come è giusto che sia, in ogni classe ci sono gruppetti. Io, ingenua bambina di 11 anni, i primi mesi di medie, mi aspettavo che la stessa situazione che avevo trovato, no, alle elementari, di una classe unita, dell'essere amica con tutti, cioè speravo che si potesse ritrovare anche alle medie. Abituata all'essere amica di tutti, io volevo essere amica con tutte le ragazze della mia classe, dove cercavo in qualsiasi modo di unirmi a loro, cercare di essere come loro. Infatti io devo dire che in quel periodo sono cresciuta forse un po' troppo in fretta, nel senso che proprio per cercare di farmi notare, no, accettare da loro, essere come loro, ho iniziato a mettere da parte, diciamo, quello che mi piaceva, quindi magari i giocattoli, il modo di vestirmi, per farmi notare, no, accettare e diventare loro amica. Io dovevo entrare a far parte di quel gruppetto, perché, cioè, io dovevo essere amica di tutti, però povera Silvia del passato non deve essere sempre così. Cioè, un giorno queste ragazze, visto che comunque avevano formato gruppetto, no? Come è giusto che sia, ripeto, stavano tutte insieme, un giorno decidono di uscire. Questo, se non sbaglio, tipo i primi mesi delle medie, decidono di uscire tutte quante, fare un'uscita, mettere quindi i video, no, sui social, sullo stato di WhatsApp, su Instagram e così via, no, di questa uscita, la documentavano. E io da casa mi guardavo tutta questa scena. Tipo, erano uscite tutte e 10, le uniche che erano rimaste escluse da questa uscita, a cui non era stato detto niente, ero io e tipo altre 3 mie compagne. Le ragazze vanno in un negozio e si comprano la stessa felpa tutte insieme, queste mie compagne, postando, ovviamente, ripeto, continuando a postare, no, tutte cose sui social. Si organizzano per metterla poi tutte insieme, no, matchate, il giorno dopo e seguenti a scuola. Il giorno dopo queste compagne vengono a scuola e dovevate vedere la scena, cioè erano tipo metà classe tutte con la stessa felpa, e poi c'eravamo noi 4 che eravamo vestite normali. Io appena ho visto questa scena, inutile dire che c'ero rimasta malissimo, perché io speravo, ripeto, di poter essere loro amica, cioè io nella mia mente ero amica con loro, ok? Perché ci provavo, quindi speravo che invitassero pure a me. Vedo questa scena, ci rimango malissimo e mi ricordo perfettamente che mi giro verso quelle mie compagne, no? Che non erano state invitate come me, e dico: ma avete visto? Non ci hanno invitato, ora sono venute tutte con la stessa felpa, non è giusto, però... E loro tipo mi mandano a quel paese, molto più intelligenti di me, capiscono e dicono: ma chi se ne frega, cioè ti sta interessando di loro veramente? Ma ripeto che io molto ingenuamente pensavo di essere loro amica e volevo pure io essere invitata a quell'uscita e avere pure io quella felpa. Quindi zitta me ne sto zitta a guardarle e praticamente a piangere. Il giorno dopo dico a mia madre di voler andare in questo negozio. Io non specifico a mia madre il perché, dico che volevo andare a fare shopping e quindi andiamo in questo negozio, in particolare dove erano andate queste mie compagne. Trovo la felpa incriminante e la compro. Mia madre, io penso che mia madre non sappia niente, cioè non penso di averglielo detto il motivo della quale, no, siamo andate là per comprare quella felpa, perché ho comprato quella felpa. Mi sono comprata quindi la stessa felpa che si erano comprate tutte insieme. Non ci credo neanche io a dire questa cosa, sinceramente. Mi viene da ridere o da piangere, perché mi rendo conto che è abbastanza imbarazzante come cosa. E ripeto che la me del passato non l'ha fatto per male, ma l'ha fatto proprio per cercare di essere accettata e di entrare in quel gruppo. Io adesso non ricordo sinceramente se quella felpa
Dopo averla comprata l'ho usata in classe. Io non ho ricordi perché la maggior parte delle esperienze traumatiche alle medie io le ho rimosse completamente dal mio cervello, però penso di non averla mai usata in loro presenza, che poi dopo che ho fatto questo acquisto mi sono resa conto, credo, della grande cavolata che avevo fatto e mi ero vergognata di me stessa e forse non l'avevo mai usata in classe comunque davanti a loro, non gliel'avevo mai fatta vedere. Indietro non rifarei mai una cosa del genere perché mi sembra assurdo, cioè io alle medie sono cresciuta apposta prima per, diciamo, essere come gli altri e io ora tornando indietro, cioè tornassi indietro non la farei mai una cosa del genere. Perché sto raccontando questa storia? Perché l'altro giorno mentre diciamo facevo uno sbarazzo di tutti i vestiti comunque che usavo quando ero più piccola da poter dare, ho ritrovato questa felpa. Madre mi fa: ma questa la dobbiamo dare? Io ci ho pensato, ho detto no, cioè perché ci sono comunque affezionato, ok? Perché è una storia dietro quella felpa. E poi sto facendo questo video anche perché immagino che ci siano in questo momento diverse ragazzine che stanno affrontando il periodo delle medie e magari si sentono un po' sole. È il periodo in cui si cresce, siamo in una fase adolescenziale un po' confusionaria. Scusate che comunque non siete soli. E niente, raccontato questo, io vi saluto e vado a finirmi di preparare. Vi mando un bacio. Mua.
I'm bored, so let's talk about my awful high school experiences.
Ignore the fact that I look absolutely chopped because I literally just rolled out of bed and went to class, but let's get into the fact of why I hate high school. So I think in general, everyone always hated high school. Like, I don't think there's been, like, one person that was like, I want to go back to high school, unless they peaked in high school. But genuinely, my experience was one of the worst experiences I could have ever had. So during my freshman and sophomore year, I was emo and eccentric, and I am still eccentric now, but I was extremely emo and I was bullied for it. I was a little bit overweight, not really that much, but I was super self-conscious of my body and people made fun of me for it. I feel like this is pretty normal for a high school experience, even though it shouldn't be normalized, but this is what happened. I was the kind of girl that people would go up to and they would like be like, oh, my friend wants your snap or something like that, and then be made fun of for it, be like, oh, ha 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 ha, whatever. One time a dude got into a full talking stage with me for like a week straight and then ended things completely, just ghosted me out of nowhere, and then was like, oh, it was actually a whole like prank, I was just playing you. This made me more insecure than I already was in the past, and I cut a bob bangs, which was terrible. I like the thickest clump of hair and then it was just a bob and it looked so bad and I was overweight and I was just having a terrible experience. Then rolls around junior year. Junior year is when I was ugly at first and then started getting pretty in the end. I became friends with a really bad group of people that I regret being friends with ever. I'm not going to get into that because that's a whole other video. They were absolutely terrible to me. They did horrible things and they spread so many rumors about me, which led to senior year. So it was senior year when I stopped being friends with these people. So it was the end of junior that I did, and it was the start of senior year where I stopped. I never felt included in their friend group. They always did things to like make me feel out, and they were just, everyone in there was toxic. So I'm gonna narrow into more specific scenarios that happened while I was in high school. So I became really pretty really randomly. I think I'm pretty now, but that's also, that could be like, people would be like, oh, you're fucking ugly. I'd be like, okay. But I got randomly really pretty compared to how I had looked in the past. So that led to people spreading rumors about me being a bop. And at the time, I was a virgin. I never got with guys because I didn't understand. Like, I never had male attention, so obviously I'm not going to turn around and become the biggest bop ever. Like, I was scared of men. And during my senior years when I really like understood male attention and didn't crave it or like go for it, because like obviously when you turn ugly to pretty, you're like, oh, male attention. And so it kind of caught me off guard, but I never went out and did things with guys. So that circulated a lot and people took their own things and like would do whatever with that. I got voted biggest bop and most likely have an OF when no one had ever seen my body at that time, which is also with the help of that friend group who helped spread that. It was specifically one girl. This girl was a year younger than us and she was absolutely obsessed with being popular. When I tell you that she literally would go out of her way, she would stalk those people's Snap location and go to their parties and pull up there. She even started dating a dude that was in that group just to be like a part of it. So she was like absolutely psycho and she was just a terrible friend in general. She also was a Republican, so she cheated on her boyfriend so much, who's actually in military now, and her boyfriend is actually a dude that told me to, and meant it. Like, he meant it for an incident that wasn't my fault, which actually was an incident that wasn't even pertaining to him. So they're like a terrible couple, whatever. Who cares? They were literally voted worst couple too, so. But anyways, no one likes her. She is crazy, whatever. So she spread so many rumors about me, and then she would sit with us at lunch.
And so I had my ex-best friend, my actual best friend, who I'm still friends with now, and I think like one other person who would sit with us at lunch. And we're gonna call this girl Cheetah. So I go, she sits with us at lunch. I'm like, hey Cheetah, like, can you please stop sitting with us at lunch? I don't feel comfortable. I feel like you've said a lot of things about me and I just don't feel comfortable with you sitting here. And she was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll sit somewhere else. So she sat somewhere else. Then the next lunch, she comes and she sits down with us. So I'm like, why are you gonna sit with here today? And she was like, yeah, because you can't tell people where they sit. And I was like, Cheetah, I don't feel comfortable with you sitting here. Like, I told you that. And she was like, you can't dictate where people can and can't sit. So I blew up. Which, in retrospect, it was, like, not the best thing to do. But I don't regret it at all. So I never regretted it or anything like that. But I do think I went about it the wrong way. I was just so mad. Like, this was anger just built up after time because of how much shit, like, I just had to handle from her. So I fully cussed her out. Then my best friend at the time, she left the table. My best friend at the time goes and sits with her. So I was like, why the F did you go? Like, why did you leave? And we got into a huge argument. She was like, you weren't in the right at all. Like, you were not right. Like, that was terrible what you did. I'm like, I'm sorry. Are you agreeing with all the things that she's done to me in the past? And she literally chose her side. Mind you, there was no sides to begin with. I didn't care that she was still friends with this girl. Yeah, like, it kind of irked me a little bit that she's still talking to someone that was so terrible to me and her. But I didn't care. I'm not that gonna be the bitch that's like, oh, you can't be friends with someone because I don't like them. But then she chose the other girl who's been nothing but terrible to her, and she literally hates her. They talk shit about each other all the time, which then led to another incident. So it was now my current best friend, another girl, and ex-best friend that sat at the lunch table. So you had to grab chairs from like other tables because sometimes there would only be like one chair at a table. So me and my best friend grabbed the chair and brought it to the table, and then the other girl brought another chair, and me and my best friend went to the bathroom. We come back and the ex-best friend is there. We'll call her Box. So Box comes to the table and she's standing there with no chair. And we come back, me and my best friend come back, and we're sitting there and we're like, she's like, oh, do you want to go to the lunch table? Whatever, lunch line. So I was like, okay, whatever. And then the ex-best friend turns and looks at me. And the other girl, I'll just call her friend. So then the other girl, she's sitting there and she's like, are you just gonna stand there? And she goes, well, it's not like I can sit because no one got me a chair. And she turns to look at me and she was like, because someone also, I had blocked her over the break. I had blocked her on everything. And I was like, I'm just done with this, because she was telling everyone that she didn't want to be friends with me anymore. And she was like, I don't want to be friends with her. She's a terrible person, this and that, da da da. So I was like, if you don't want to be friends, I'll block. So she's standing there and she's like, she turns and she's like, because someone also blocked me on everything, da da da. And I go, well, you didn't want to be friends with me anymore. So I was like, I gave you what you wanted. And she tried pulling on me, but she had no power in this because she was like freaked the fuck out. And she was like trying to cuss me out. And I was like, bitch, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And she was like, I don't know why you did all this, da da da. And then she ends it. She's like, a terrible person. You're a terrible person. And she goes and sits in the lunch table, like in the lunchroom. And she goes like crying to her friend. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, why the fuck did I just get blown up on? Because I didn't do anything. All I did was block her because she didn't want to be my friend anymore. But then I'm just like, okay. It didn't affect me at all. Oh, I'm a terrible person. God forbid a girl doesn't want any more rumors spread about her. And then the ex-best friend goes back to that friend group that we were all friends with. That was terrible to me. And she starts spreading a bunch of rumors also, being like, oh, she was like this, she was like that, which was not true. And it was just because we had stopped being friends that she started doing this. Which is low-key like, okay, girl, you got that. And then the other girl, like, they both helped spread, like, the bot rumors and stuff like that. And there was this other girl that I was friends with that was she was so mean. Like, she was just like that kind of person where she was mean and thought it was funny, but she was just actually so mean. And she pretended to be me to catfish a dude. Like, she literally, what she did was she sent a picture of the both of us to this dude, and then she said she was me and just went along with it. And then I followed that dude on Instagram, and he saw that it was me and it was my name, not her name. And he blocked her, and then he blocked me, and I was like, okay, I don't care. I just wanted to make sure that she's not being a freak. Because she would link with guys all the time. She'd always tell people about it too, but she would link with guys like all the time. So I didn't want her to be saying like freaky stuff. Because one time she sent a video of her getting back shots to another dude and was like, this could be you. And he was like, what the fuck? Because I'm friends with that guy. And she also brought cops to my house to go get a Christmas tree costume that she never asked for back. Anyways, they became friends because of me, because they both hated me. They like bonded over it, and their friendship is so weird because they're like only friends with each other. It doesn't make sense. But they also don't like each other because at the time that Box was my friend, she was like saying like, I don't like that girl, like I don't like that girl at all. And I was like, she was like, I don't want you being friends with her, whatever. And now she's friends with her. They bonded over me, so I would like to take credit for that. Anyways, so the other girl, we'll call her Cop. So Cop and Box became friends, and then Cop actually made a hate account against me where Box replied to it and fully started lying. She cheesed my car, she's a terrible person, she did this, she did that. Mind you, she didn't actually say anything that was like worth anyone's time. She was just like, she's a terrible person, she's a terrible person. Like, okay girl, you're a little white girl that says the N-word. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Bye-bye college? Like, what do you want me to say? But anyways, I had like a huge like hate account. It was literally only 2 people that like responded to it, and it was a dude I talked to for less than a week who told me he loved me, and he was like, she's crazy. And then it was that girl. Okay, I am reaching the end of my time, so let me know if you guys want me to make a part 2, because I have so many stories about how I hated high school.
I am on to see my husband. I'm happy to see.
Now, I promise I'm not trying to be messy, evil, you know, I'm not trying to start drama here. I promise I'm not. But for this one girl, I will annihilate you. I will. Actually, not just one girl, 4 girls. It's a ringleader fight. Yeah, I'm getting all of it. I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna let it slide the first time this happened, which was about 2 months ago, but then it's happened again, and I was like, now you're waking me up, right? And everyone's like, oh my gosh, be so quiet on the creek, like, be quiet on the creek. No, I'm roaring in the creek. Like, my creek is, like, turning into Niagara Falls. Like, I'm starting to get... Now, I knew I was immature and mentally, you know, not there at all. Well, there's a lot of reasons why, but the main one is with the goddamn app, that little app on your phone called Instagram. I call it Insta humiliation. I call it Insta bullshit. I call it Insta fight. I call it Insta too much going. I love Instagram as much as the next person, okay? You know, you get to post a little photo dump and be like, like, I'm loving my life, right? And then you silence off your phone and you start busting out crying because what are you doing? Like, I swear that's how Instagram works for majority of the people. Like, you post a photo dump, I don't even know, in the middle of, like, Morocco, right? You're like, oh my gosh, like, I just got done running, I can't, well, this and that. Then you start, like, busting out crying, right? You're like, what am I fucking doing with my... That's how, like, most people are with Instagram, okay? Instagram is something, and I usually keep it deleted. But you know what? It was just my birthday, so I had to revive my Instagram, okay? I just got back from Puerto Rico. I was like, hold on, photo dump, I'm here, okay? Now, as you guys probably have gathered by now, if you're here watching this, Instagram is not my main mojo. It is not. It's this little app, right? In a sweatshirt where I'm screaming and I'm yelling, I'm, you know, doing my thing, okay? But something from posting these videos and yelling and screaming and hollering, blah, 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 people have tend to ask me for my Instagram. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put it in my bio. From doing that, I've gained a little bit of followers. By a little bit, I'm telling you, like 5,000, but like on Instagram, like 5,000 to me, bitch. I'm Kylie Jenner. Where the fuck is my flat tummy tea? I'm serious, right? Okay. So, whatever. Instagram's kind of linked to my TikTok. I've been getting a little bit of traction on Instagram, you know, a couple likes on Instagram, a couple comments, a couple hyping me up, right? Now, that's come with something else. Now, I knew I was a little mentally off too because Instagram, I run kind of like, not the military, but a version of a boot camp, okay? The way I work, I follow people on Instagram with my biggest of hearts, okay? When I follow you on Instagram, and I follow like a wide range of people, okay? It's either people from like high school all the way down to elementary school, down to the girl that I met at the bar like a year ago where we had 2 conversations and I said, follow me on Instagram, okay? For me personally, the way I work with my Instagram, my follow, it's gonna stay. Unless you publicly post a video saying I am going to burn down a small village and I'm going to go around slapping grandmas, you're gonna keep that follow. Like, I'm not the type of bitch who's like, oh, like, I met you one time, like, gonna unfollow you. I don't know, like, those feel like, I don't know, you're soul bonded. I followed you on Instagram. Going to your page and clicking that unfollow button is very serious to me, okay? I'm just like, oh, like, it's very... That's it, okay? Now, where the story's going, okay? We're gonna throw it back to high school graduation. What the fuck does high school graduation got to do with anything? It's got everything to do with this, okay? Never forget the day I graduated in 2020. Now, you wanna know the secret? I actually almost forgot because I didn't have a graduation, okay? It was 2020. Everyone was masked the fuck up. We were afraid of pathogens and a diploma. I don't even know how I walked because I didn't walk. I walked to my bedroom and I got on Skype and I said, oh, they posted a little flyer of me saying, Dylan graduated. That was it, bitch. I was in a group Zoom call with about 400 people and they flashed a picture of me, an uneven ass, disgusting flipogram looking picture and nobody, like, you couldn't even unmute the clap. I think people put clapping like emoticons on the Zoom, okay? And I was like counting how many clapping emoticons I got on the Zoom. Now, something you need to understand, when I graduated, okay, and I'm not kidding, it wasn't even 24 hours after. Remember, after I got off that Zoom call, I checked my Instagram app to see what the girls. Remember, I see something that's about my little eye. I lost 10 followers. Now, I was scared at first because I was like, oh my fucking God, was the picture number one that bad they put for me on graduation? Number two, did they post my nudes at graduation? Like, I was so confused. I was like, what the fuck did I do, okay? Now, this messy ass time, I had the unfollower app. Yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there are those little apps that you can download and it's like who unfollowed you on Instagram. Some shit like that, okay? They literally hack your 10 out of 10 do not recommend, but the one that I had at the time did not hack your phone, but it hacked my mind, right? It made me go insane. Remember, I clicked on it and I was like, okay, bum. Hold on, you're my friend. And I started going through it and I was like, oh shit. Why are some of these girls, I had a class with, we were just sharing answers in English class. Okay, you're unfollowing me. So they started processing me and I was like, oh. So when people graduate, it wasn't a joke because you would see those videos like, oh, when I graduate, like I'm unfollowing everyone, like I'm staying in my. And some of those bitches really did do that. And you know what? That's your prerogative. If you don't want to see me on your feed, that's fine. That's totally fine. You made that decision, right? And that's where I am in like mentally. I'm like, okay, once you unfollow me, unless me and you like run into each other in the middle of like Dubai or something and like you're like my lifeline and like, we become so many friends, we talk it out on the remix, like you're not getting that follow back, okay? Anyway, so I unfollowed everybody back. Now fast forward to recent. For the last like 4 months, I just think it's so hysterical, okay? I guess like people in like real life, I mean not like real life, but like real life have started to like, find out like, oh, this motherfucker screams on social media, right? Like, I guess some people are starting to find my TikTok. And, like, all my friends have found my TikTok. And, like, most people have. But I guess over the last 4 months, like, it's trickling to waters that have never really been reached before. Anyway, so about 4 months ago, I remember I'm scrolling on Instagram. And once again, I have 5,000 followers. So, like, if I get a follow, baby, I see who the fuck you are. And I'm clicking on your profile. So, I get a follow on Instagram. And I'm like, this bitch looks very familiar. Oh, a little too familiar. It was one of the girls that unfollowed me after graduation. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing here? And it's one of those girls that got like, 2,000 followers and follows 100 people. You unfollowed me. So what are you? Because when I go into my yearbook, you're crossed out. I asked you out of my yearbook. You're no longer with us. How'd you creep onto my Instagram? Where'd you find, what's the correlation? Okay though, but I was like, okay, I didn't really correlate anything. I'm just like, okay, maybe, you came around. Maybe I posted a baddie picture, but then again, I haven't posted in a month. So that's a little weird. Okay. Not following you back though, but thank you. Then about a week later, another girl came trekking in. Who are you? Click on her profile. Oh, I actually thought you followed me already. That one got me. I'm not gonna lie, the second one gagged the fuck out of me because I already followed her. Why is she just now following me back? And keep in mind, these are not just people that like, because when I follow somebody on Instagram, like especially if you're in my hometown, baby, there is no hometown select. I don't give a fuck if you have 1.4 million followers. If you're from my immediate hometown, baby, we're all person to person. So this person, we've gone to parties together, like not together, but like I've seen them at multiple parties, like interacted like back in high school at least, okay? Thought you are, okay, right, exactly, okay, so you unfollow. So when she followed me recently, just got another unfollow. Third one's the moneymaker. This one's not even high school, college. Right. Girl that, once again, we went to college together. We were like pretty cool, whatever. Didn't really like talk that much, but once again, it was one of those people like, I knew her friend, she knew my friend. Right. She unfollowed me after college graduation. That was in 2024. Until recently. See a little follow. Oh. I rebuke that negative energy. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm saging my phone at this point, right? Like, why? And that one was actually different, too, because not only did she follow me on Instagram, after we already followed each other and unfollowed each other, so I thought we already, like, made that amends. Like, okay, we don't like each other. Like, oh, we're both chopped. Like, we don't want to... But had the nerve to type to me on Snapchat, because we had each other on Snapchat, because we were like... Chatted me and said, oh, my gosh, Diva, you're all over my For You page. This page isn't for you. I'm gonna be very... It's not for you at all. Extermination, right? Like the urge to like make like a Lemonade Mouth type song saying get off my page. Like no, because why? I pop on your For You page once and now you're gonna what was going on? My main thing is in high school and where's the difference? Because bitch, I'll still walk around the hallways like, hi guys. But now that other people are saying hi to me on social media, now you want to say hi to me? No. Last one. This is the one that woke it up the most. Today. Why do I get on Instagram? And I'm like, okay, I'm about to check it out. Let's see what's going on. Gain 6 new followers. I'm a celeb. Who are these people? 1, 2, 3, fucking release them. The one that popped, lost my fucking mind. This one I actually got a screenshot and sent in my group chat. It's gonna be very transparent. Not trying to be a bully. This girl, especially in high school, was like a popular girl. She was that moment, very pretty, popular girl, okay? Me and her have had over like 10 plus conversations at parties, multiple different parties, multiple times in the hallway. We've been at small get-togethers too, like very niche, like 6 people type shit. And she was like that girl, whatever. When she graduated high school, she wanted to even out her Instagram ratio. And that's fine, baddie, that's fine. But I didn't make the cut. I'll never forget. I didn't make the cut, but all my friends made the cut. But you don't follow me. That's fine. Feed wasn't there, I understand. But why are you following me now? Your ratio is still very small. So why do I make the cut now? What changed? You want to know what's not going to change? My ratio, because I'm not following you back. I don't know. This is such like a pointless, like dumb video, but the moral of it is like people, like you see these videos of like influencers and being like, oh my gosh, like when you gain followers, like people fucking, I'm not an influencer, I'm not a celebrity, but like I do find it fascinating though that like I do have a couple followers on, and I feel like I've kind of been feeling it on like Instagram of like people that had like, you know, unfollowed me and shit. Like now all of a sudden they want to follow me again. What changed? What changed? Did I gain a couple followers? Like, did the Canon G7X like fix the feed? Not sure, but please DM me and let me know because you will not be getting a follow back. Yeah, I sage and I rebuke this negative energy. Now time to go eat sushi.